Hello! First, before I talk about the shoot with Joshua Roether, I want to do a quick little catch-up on what's going on with video shooting and editing and sound and everything. So, video editing is not a skill that I have built over my years yet. I'm working on that, and I've been watching the tutorials, and I'll slowly gain that skill, but that's not my focus. And I want to make that very clear, that I want to make high-quality videos, but I want to make what I'm talking about important. I want to make the storytelling important. I want to do, I think what I'll call them is shoot journals, which is this type of thing. I want to do shoot journals regularly about, hey, I did this shoot. This was my first shoot, first time meeting Joshua Roether, who was the photographer for this shoot that I'm about to talk about, that has all the cool colorful shots with the harsh red and blue and in the black and like the cool shadows and eyes, and very cool. One of my first shoots actually, back I think in May or June. And I want to talk about these regularly. I want to be uploading music videos regularly. I think I'll start with what I've done for the two videos that I've done. Just a quick cover using my keyboard here and this microphone that I'm using here, and that'll be a start. And then I want to move into eventually talking about music and music theory and writing songs and all these things that excite me and that I'm really passionate about. So that's just a quick kind of update on where I am and what I'd like to be doing. And I'm working on the video editing. Right now what I'm doing is I'm using this relatively low quality camcorder thing that I got 2 years ago that I've almost never used. I have this, which is a reasonably high quality microphone hooked into my Ableton software, which is recording it right now. And then I put that file and this file into my Premiere Pro, which is paid for by Patreon, which I really appreciate and support. And I put that together, and I link the files, I line them up together so that the audio and the video is synced, and all the editing will be done in Premiere Pro, and I'm learning how to do that editing. That's a quick catch-up. So, I want to talk about 3 things about this shoot. First, my experience meeting him and talking to him, and I have done a future shoot with him. 2, 3? I've done a few shoots with him since, and I just want to quickly talk about my experience with him. I want to talk about the cool setup of what the shoot was and all the lights and some of the interesting like poses and colors, whatever. And then thirdly, I want to talk about how this affected my thoughts on modeling and how it was all about my setup and like what I thought was interesting about it and all that jazz. So, first off, Joshua Roether. Joshua Roether is a photographer, obviously. He is interested in fashion. He lives in Brooklyn, here in New York. And so he messaged me on Instagram and said, hey, do you want to do a shoot? And I said, sure, because I had only done a few shoots. And I was like, you know what? All the shoots, the better, right? And it seemed interesting, and I was looking at his page, and I saw all these cool color shots where it was like red and blue lights, which made me think superheroes and purple and green and whatever, colorful shots. And I was like, oh, that's so interesting. It's so different from the pictures I've been doing, which was what was kind of important to me. I was like, let's branch out, let's try something new. So I traveled down to Brooklyn to his place where he has his studio in his really big room that he has. And I met him, and we chatted for a minute, and as he was setting up the lights and showing me, you know, he's saying, don't look into the lights because they're super bright. So I looked into the lights, and I was blinded. It was great. And we started taking pictures, and it was a naked shoot, and I was totally, you know, comfortable and fine and good, which was good. That's important to me. I got a good vibe from him. He seemed friendly, and he seemed like he was pretty creative and interesting. So we started trying a bunch of different shots with the different lights. And immediately one of the shots we took was this red one with the muscles, with the where I'm trying to pretend that I have muscles, which I just posted, by the way, today on my Instagram. Check out my Instagram. And I was like, holy cow, that's super cool idea. So then we started doing a bunch of different shots, a bunch of different pictures, and all sorts of different poses and everything. And he took some in black and white, and we had a lot of different colors, and I think I contributed a little bit with poses and what I thought was cool. My favorite shot, I think, from this whole little set that I'm going to be putting in this post is I'm like standing, and it's like this kind of, you can't really see, but this kind of thing. I'm standing, and it was all very Michael Jackson kind of Michael Jackson inspired. Anyway, so I met him. He's a great guy. He seems creative, and I was like, awesome. So second thing, the shoot, the concept. He was doing a whole series of these just colorful shots, and he was doing models of different, body levels, and super jacked guys and super not jacked guys. And I was like, this is interesting. It's cool to be part of a series, because I hadn't really done that. With Bobby's pictures, I fit his brand, but it wasn't a specific series. So it was cool to be part of a series. I thought, oh, this is a very professional model of me. So that was awesome. And we had a stool for some parts where I would put my leg up on it, I would sit on it, I would do different poses, and we were changing the colors throughout the shoot. My favorite were definitely the blue and red ones, because Spider-Man, Superman, all the, superhero colors, like, extremely cool. The third thing I want to talk about is how this affected my modeling-ness. And this was the first shoot that was, like, significantly different from the other pictures. And I was like, okay, because my first, my outset thoughts on photography, a year ago was nothing specific. It was just, you have a really fancy camera, therefore you can take a good picture, good for you. I didn't have the most respect or understanding. It was mostly just being ignorant about it, or naive, thinking like, good for you, and why are models and photographers getting paid for this seemingly simple task? And very tiny percentage of that holds true a little bit, but I've learned so much about, like, oh, that's what modeling is. Oh, expression. Oh, posing is not just like, I'm pretty. It's very interactive. It's interesting. It's creative. It's all about movement. It's all about capturing and timing and aperture and all these other, like, actual things in the camera and actual things on your body to, like, make it happen. So that really broadened my scope of understanding when it comes to photography, which is exciting, because then I got to go on to do really awesome different concept shoots. I did a shoot with this guy Casey that was like for a series that was so much different than the shots I've done before, and stuff like that is just exciting. I like doing interesting shoots, and I have some upcoming that I'm really excited about. I did this shoot that was super awesome with Trey. Coming up, I will post that on Patreon because I am pumped. And Joshua brought me into that whole world. And we became friends for a while, and I think that was also an introduction in the world of photography. It was like, I can, meet these other creative people. So it was really interesting, really exciting. It was a great shoot. I hope you love the content down below. Enjoy it. Thank you so much for supporting me. I really appreciate it. And check out this Thursday for a beach shoot I did with Kyle, who is PhotosmithNYC on Instagram. And look up SAP.NYC, SAP.NYC, I believe, for Joshua's page, which is Strike a Pose Photography is what that means. Check him out, go support him, and I love that you're supporting me. Please drop a comment, drop a like if you liked it, and I will see you Thursday. Awesome. Thanks.